Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello again, everyone, and good Tuesday afternoon. Welcome into this, another edition of the Auburn Blitz. I am Andy Graham alongside Randy Lee. We'll be with you for the next hour, taking your comments, taking your phone calls, talking about everything going on in the world of Auburn athletics. We appreciate all of you out there and choosing to join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz. You can always find us right here on WOTM or WAXC TV. You can also dial us up on the Sportz Blitz Facebook page. That's Sports with a Z. And comment away. We'll get to as many of those as we can throughout the show. But we always like to hear from you personally. 256-234-6221 is our number here. Give us a call. Let us know what's on your mind. Auburn with an off week. We all got to kind of take a step back. And we talked about that yesterday a little bit. We'll dive into a little bit of Auburn and Arkansas today if we have time. But we'll also talk about kind of the state of the program, where Auburn is right now, the reality of the situation. I think maybe they're, I don't want to talk about this too much, and I don't want to, come on here and be so kind of depressing every day. But there is a sense of urgency with the roster the way it is right now, of where Auburn stands. We talked about those numbers. I'll reiterate them a little bit about where Auburn is right now as far as the SEC is concerned, our place as far as what the roster, how it compares with our competitors, and what Auburn is losing this year. Not only a lot of those four-star guys that look good on paper, but guys that are really, really productive. You're losing quite a few of those guys, so what are you replacing them with? Right now you have 11 commitments. And so where was this roster going to be next year? You go back a couple of years and you can see the decline happening in real time, and it's not something that's going to be a one-year fix if Auburn doesn't have a sense of urgency about this and try to, as David and I talked about yesterday, kind of arrest this fall that Auburn is in. So we'll be a little bit more specific about that. But Randy, good to see you. You look a year older for some reason.
I am a year older, and
happy late birthday to you yesterday.
Happy to make it to 45, Andy. You beat me there, and you always will beat me to whatever race that we're in this old life of ours. But 45 of them, and I appreciate a lot of you for sending me messages out there. It does make an old man feel good.
Well, I would say you look pretty good for a 45-year-old. And how do you feel? That's what's important.
Well, I feel great. I did have a post that was made by he's not my uncle, but I consider him my uncle, and one of my dad's best friends. And he said that my mom's an Alabama fan.
Yeah.
You and I kind of have this same thing going for us.
It's true, yeah.
And she is a diehard Alabama fan. And Cynthia, diehard Alabama fan.
She's pretty big fan.
Yeah. So my mom, she's a big Alabama fan.
She doesn't rub it in, though. I mean, she's not that kind.
No, my mom doesn't. But I know not to brag if things happen to not go well for Alabama. That she does take that stuff to heart.
You weren't wearing Rocky Top. You weren't singing Rocky Top.
No. I didn't have that ugly orange T-shirt on following the loss to Tennessee, and I didn't say too much about it either. But I did have a post yesterday that said life could have been a lot easier if you'd have just followed your mother's path and not your father's and gone with Alabama when you were deciding what. And I did reply back, yes, some heartache would have been left behind if that decision was to have been made back then. But nonetheless, I made the decision to go the Auburn path like most of us Lees do, and here we are, Andy. So I've got an hour of bliss to talk with you about that path that was chosen many a moon ago. And look, this Saturday could at least be – I'm going to try to stay semi-positive today because most of the last few weeks have needed to be negative. Mm-hmm. You know, when you lose and you're sitting there and you're looking at recruiting numbers like we have right now, it's very easy to be negative. But I'm going to try to stay a little positive this week after an off week, no loss last week. And we're taking on a team that we seem to have their number. And we happen to be playing them where things seem to go a little bit better in our favor. I'm hoping for us Auburn faithful, we can get back on the winning side. And I do see that there's a sense of urgency. I was semi-happy with the way that we closed that game out a couple of weeks ago when we were down 21-0. You know, I did make mention to each of you that were on an Auburn thread that the guy may not be allowed back on the plane the way this thing is starting. And we didn't quit. Couldn't stop them. I don't think we'd ever stopped them. But we did run for 300-plus yards, and we did look like we had some emotion on the sideline, Andy. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that we're going to play a little bit better as the weeks move on.
Arkansas, and I've said this all week, said this going back to last week, there's some winnable games here. That's the front half of the schedule, pretty tough. But the back half of the schedule, you've got some winnable games here. Texas A&M, not the team that we thought they were going to be coming into this season. Arkansas, while they do, K.J. Jefferson's the real deal. Him running the football concerns me greatly. Their running game in particular concerns me greatly, but, their defense is not very good. They give up a lot of points. That's one of the problems where Auburn has had. They don't score enough points, so they did put up 34 against Ole Miss on the road. They may have found something there, like you said, with the running game. So there's some possibilities there. You're at home. Mississippi State struggling right for the last 2 weeks. Like I said, Texas A&M, not a good football team. Western Kentucky. So you got 4 straight games, 3 of them in Jordan-Hare Stadium. If you're going to get this thing to get 6-6 and get to a bowl game, what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Not a lot. But just for the guys that on this team, like Derek Hall and Kobe Wood and Tank Bigsby, just for those guys that and Owen Papo, there's a lot of guys you could name. I just throw those out there because they've been there for a long time. To be able, that would say something about them. That would say something about their character, and it would just say something about the team that they could, the senior leadership on the team, that they could kind of rally together and just finish strong and show some pride. And I think that would be good for everybody. Would it? Are we talking about saving Brian Harson's job? I just don't know how that happens, really.
Did you see Mike Leach's rant yesterday?
I did. That was, I don't know.
To me, the more
guys
I watched,
are going to end up with no hands.
The more I watched it, like the first time I watched it, I went, man, he even took that one a little far. And then I watched it about 15 more times. I must admit, I watched it it got better every time I listened to it because, the first time you watched it, you're like, I think I know where he's going with this. They can't catch a cold. No. And I think he just but this thing was, you couldn't have scripted this better. He just went, I hope if you haven't seen Mike Leach's rant on Tyrannosaurus Rex hands and, kids from Starkville and, if we continue down this path with evolution, then the players from Starkville may not have any hands.
If you don't use your hands, you lose them.
If you don't use your hands, you lose them, and we just don't use our hands.
Use them. No.
It was glorious, but nonetheless. So yeah, we've at least got that going for us that Mike Leach thinks they can't catch a cold.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think that there is something to be said for finishing 6-6. We've got a few assistant coaches on this staff that are fairly new coaches that I like. And I think they are at least efforting to do a good job when times are hard to do a good job. And I think they're trying to get out there with very little leadership from their head coach and those Boise guys when it comes to recruiting because it's the only names I hear. Now, look, if those Boise guys are recruiting, I don't hear about them, especially here in this state. And I happen to talk to people in this state that talk to a lot of coaches, and I don't know how many schools they've been in and out of. But I do think those other guys are. And I do think Jimmy Brumbaugh is very well respected and liked by the defensive line that he coaches and liked out on the recruiting circuit. So I think winning could help us close the gap on a few guys. Now, are we going to go get somebody this late in the process that Alabama and Georgia have offered, which don't even get me started on Jeremiah Cobb getting an offer today by Georgia.
One of our highest recruits right now of our 11, four-star Jeremiah Cobb, running back from Montgomery Catholic, just got offered by Georgia.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, what do you think the odds are we hold on to him? Minimal at best. I mean, it would take a –
depends on how hard Georgia pushes.
How hard Georgia pushes and if Cadillac remains around.
That's probably –
because I can almost bet you it's a lot of the same Tank Bigsby feel that we've got going, which we had to re-recruit him last summer to talk him into coming back, and Cadillac, I'm sure, was the key component for that happening. So, and none of us know the answer to that. We can go back down that path and discuss the pros and the cons of keeping a coach around the remainder of the year. But here's the deal with Auburn right now. Maybe we can have a whole segment on this because you're going to have to enlighten me on what we're doing with this athletic director hire. What in the world is taking so long? Huh?
That's a good question.
I mean,
is
it a benefit to take this
what is how long is due diligence?
Oh.
I mean, how long? When does it become too much? When does it become too far?
I can't imagine that you put it out there, you allow people to put their name in the hat, and then it takes more than a month to go through all names and interview. I mean, am I being unreasonable? Have any of you served on committees or boards that you've been on where it took more than a month to hire someone?
Perhaps you on the other side of that argument. It is such an important time for Auburn. It is such an important hire. We're going to take all the time it needs to make the right one.
I can't buy that. No.
We got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC, 205-229-0234. Call owner Eric McKenzie now to get your free quote now. 205-229-0234. Concrete Basement and Walls, LLC.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours. Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
Concrete Basement and Walls LLC, 205-229-0234. Call owner Eric McKenzie now to get your free quote now. 205-229-0234. Concrete Basement and Walls LLC.
No monthly payments till after the holidays. At Glenn Smith in Opelika.
Enjoy big discounts on Chevrolet Buick and GMC SUVs. How about a brand new Chevrolet Buick or GMC with no payments till next year? New Chevy Equinox as low as $329 a month. New Buick Enclaves up to $5,000 off. New GMC Terrains up to $6,000 off.
Get 0% financing, no payments till next year at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Andy and Randy here with you for about 45 more minutes in today's show. We appreciate all of you out there being with us. We're brought to you each and every day by Mortgage Pro, the Eric McKinley team. They're saving people thousands of dollars each and every year on their home mortgages. Give them a call today, 256-397-0248, 256-397-0248. The thing that concerns me the most right now is the Auburn roster, because if you just go by the numbers, and again, these numbers are somewhat, they don't tell the whole story by any means, but by the numbers, Auburn has the sixth most talented roster in the SEC. That is ahead of Tennessee, ahead of South Carolina, ahead of Ole Miss, ahead of Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Missouri, and Vanderbilt. Right now, okay? So now factor into that you're going to lose Owen Papo, Tank Bigsby, Nehemiah Pritchett, Derek Hall, Kobe Wooden, John Shanker, Cameron Stutz, who's a starter on the offensive line, Austin Troxell, who was a starter on the offensive line. All those guys 4-star except for Shanker and Stutz. Zacchaeus Walker already left the team. He's a 4-star. Marquise Burks, 3-star backup. Marcus Bragg, we brought in from Western Kentucky. He's a senior. I don't know if he's got a COVID year left, but he's a senior, so you might lose him, 3-star. Shedrick Jackson, who's been productive. Kicker Anders Carlson. Council, Alec Jackson, Killian Zaire, all starters on the offensive line. Coffey and Urban, backups on the offensive line. You might lose DJ James, who we just brought in from Oregon. He will have an opportunity. I don't know if he gets Keontae Scott, Marcus Harris, Iku Leota, Zion Puckett, Jalen Simpson. Maybe those guys are back. Maybe they're not. That's a question mark. So all those guys productive. Some of those 4-star guys that are listed in that lineup, though, Nick Brahms, J.J. Evans, both gone. Xavion Capers. Has he caught a pass this year?
Not that I know of. You would know better than I would.
I would say no
on
that one. So he might have caught one. But, I mean, he may have caught one the last 2 years. So there's a 4-star guy that, means hardly any – I mean, it doesn't mean anything. So then you start looking at that roster and you start thinking, okay, we had 32 4-star players this year. What are we going to have next year? Our roster is going to look a lot more like Kentucky. It's going to look a lot more like Mississippi State, a lot more like Arkansas. And what are we bringing in? Right now we got 11 recruits to replace that. 8 of those are 4-star. So I guess you could put those back into it. But
how many of those 8 do you hold on to? I mean, we just mentioned in the first segment that Jeremiah Cobb from Montgomery, Catholic, just with an offer from Georgia. Now, Luke always talks about this, how committable of an offer is it? We don't know that answer. All I know is he's offered. And he's putting on a show this year. His numbers are PlayStation numbers. So, I mean, I would guess that they would be interested and they'd be over here along with Dale McGee and all that Dale McGee does. Dale McGee has put us in a bad spot over the last several years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Why can't we go out there and hire that guy? What is it about Auburn that can't go get one of their own that has proven to be a good coach and an excellent recruiter?
It's a fair question. We never have been able to get Stacey Searles on campus. Some of the guys just don't want to go home, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
they're in good positions. Why would they leave?
Good point. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything, well, that may be more of a statement about the current state of the Auburn football program than anything. I mean, you'd have to take a major risk to come over here. I mean, the turnover's pretty high.
Yeah.
Can't seem to get it right. The roller coaster ride is a lot more winding than it is at some other programs. So it's understandable, but he has taken it to us over the last several years, and maybe it turns. But back to here's the numbers. Did you already give these numbers in a previous show that I missed on where you came up with these, where Auburn's got the sixth most talented roster?
I did, yes.
Okay. Because
this came from 24/7.
I mean, Alabama's got 73 4 or 5 stars on their roster. Georgia currently has 67 4 or 5 stars on their roster. A&M's got 56. LSU has 38. Florida has 46. And Auburn's got 33. And that's 4 and 5 stars.
That number's going down.
That number's going down based off of what Andy just said. Now, Tennessee right behind us, they've got 26.
And that number's going up.
That number is going up. And you can, if there's ever a time that you can go out there on the transfer portal and make a big splash, it's right now. The problem with Auburn, and this is the reason that I made the argument a couple of weeks ago, that I can buy into keeping a coach around till the end of the year, but I also can buy into what are you selling? Now, do I think you're going to go out there and hire the coach that you're going to have next year right now? No, because any coach that you'd want's probably coaching and doing a pretty good job somewhere. So you're going to have to wait until the season's over. But it is very hard to sell any vision to anyone with the current state of this program. Am I wrong?
No. And that there again, that's the concern.
Which goes back to the question I had in the opening segment. Athletic director at Auburn. I get Roberts wants to make the right hire. And I don't know how long it takes to make the right hire. There's a certain point where you go, how long does that take? And how much are we losing based off of dragging our feet? Am I wrong?
I don't think any recruit's looking at it, though, like, do they have an AD? I don't think they
care.
But
nothing's going to happen with the coach and where we are with the coach until the AD. That's what I've heard. Is that not what you hear?
That's what
we're going to wait and make a decision and let the AD make
it?
Well, okay, so you have heard that we may get rid of the coach where the AD doesn't have to do it.
Yeah.
And I can see both ways. I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, it doesn't appear that's going to happen. Just by looking at the facts. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the Auburn Blitz.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial buildings. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route, to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
Russell Building Supply and Home Center is just around the corner in a brand new, convenient location with a wide selection of grills, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. The new store offers more home improvement items along with other helpful conveniences like a drive-through lumber yard and our Best Rewards program, making it an ideal destination for do-it-yourselfers and professional contractors. Get ready for game day on the plains by stocking up on all your Auburn tailgating gear at Russell Building Supply and Home Center.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Andy and Randy here with you. About 30 more minutes left in today's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us today. Brought to you each and every day by Big Fish Real Estate. Give them a call today, 551-BIG-FISH, or look them up, bigfishlakemartin.com. Let's go to the phone line.
James, you're on the Auburn Blitz.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Good, James. Glad to have you.
Good. What's your buddy over there doing? Is he awake?
He's awake. He's trying to keep it positive today, James. It's tough.
Okay.
It's tough at this point in time.
I'm going to try to keep it positive, too.
Okay.
I'll tell you something. That Rich McGlynn has never been an athletic director. But Rich McGlynn knows more about that office and probably that position at Auburn. Plus, he knows all the people at Auburn that pull the strings and have inquisitions and everything else. He's probably the smartest, most qualified for Auburn. How do you get qualified to be a athletic director? There's no thing that you can study. You can study athletic administration or something like that, but he knows the laws. He knows this. I bet you $10 that he has been in on everything that they've ever done, just about. And I'll tell you something. he's kept us out of trouble with the NCAA before they started doing all this new stuff, and we haven't gotten any problems on it since. Now I don't know how much a lot of the backroom stuff that they do, and I don't say backroom like making an illegal decision or something bad, but I think he's kind of a uniquely qualified person because he has been, not only investigating and making sure we kept our things right, but he's familiar with all those sports because he does that for all of them. As far as I know, or he has a staff that helps him. But that's just a thought. Some of these people, you get them from Timbuktu and you don't know anything about them. If he's interested in it, and if Auburn's interested in going that way, he'd be the best shot. I mean, he's not an Auburn person, I don't think, from the standpoint he went to school down there, but I'll guarantee you, I don't think you could buy him off, nor could you find him guilty of not working. He impresses me, and I don't know that much about him other than he knows everything backwards and forwards about how all that stuff works. And I think sometimes that may be what we need, and he knows how Auburn works too, which may or may not be the best thing sometimes, but that's fine for him. He'd be up that much on somebody else that might come in and just go nuts. That's just a safe thought. That's all it's worth, what it costs you, and hope y'all have a good day.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
James.
it, James.
We appreciate that phone call. We'd love some more of you out there, 256-234-6221. Your thoughts on the AD hire? Who would you like to see? Who are you hearing? Who are you hearing, Andy?
Only two
Got any
names
feel?
I've heard is McGlynn and James Hartwell, or John Hartwell, from Utah State. Those are the only two names, the only serious names that I've heard.
Any feel one
But that
way or
don't mean
another?
anything, and it's not like they
For you?
don't consult me. I agree with James. I think exactly McGlynn. He's been at Auburn for a while. He certainly knows the ins and outs of everything. Now, is he a personable guy? Is he a fundraiser? That's what you want in an AD, a guy that can go out there and that can fundraise. I mean, that's a big part of the job. They got somebody else to run the day-to-day operations now. You got a COO. You got the general. You got the general out there to run, and I think they've got somebody else that runs a part of it as well. So a lady, right? That's like the CEO. That I forget, but it's all it's more of a hand out the trophy or hand out this award to somebody, shake a hand, kiss a baby. You do make some big time decisions, but it's a different role than it used to be. When Pat Dye was the AD at Auburn, it was a different day and age. So I think McGlynn. I don't know about I'm like James. I don't know him. I've never met the guy. Don't know what he's like personality wise. Don't know the other guy. But if Hartwell is the right guy for the job, he's already there. What's taking so long, right? To your point.
What about Jackson?
Tim Jackson?
Yeah. Are you hearing that name? As much as we heard at the outset?
No. But I've heard, it thrown around. And look, I've never met him either. But I know enough people. But he is a lightning rod, whether he wants to be or not, whether it's justified or not. That's simply the fact. And if they announce him as AD, I don't know. I believe I take the week off.
Do we think that the athletic director hire is going to correlate directly with who we go and get as a head coach based off of their relationships with the head coach currently? The head coach is out there currently? Or do you think that those guys would have the ability to think out of the box?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I've heard that. They say, well, if it's this guy,
then this guy's going to be hired.
If it's Hartwell, it's going to be Jeff Grimes.
Yes.
I've heard that. I don't believe that for 1 second. Number one, Chris Roberts is going to be the one making the hire. He's going to be the one that has the ultimate say in it. Yes, will an AD have maybe a preferred candidate? Sure. Is it guaranteed that if John Hartwell gets a job that he's going to hire Jeff Grimes? No. That's ridiculous. I don't believe there's anything to that. But so I think it might have some effect on the pool of candidates, but as far as who gets hired, that's going to be one man's decision as far as I know.
Again, love to hear from you. Your thoughts on that. That's the one question I had in the opening segment. What in the world's taking so long?
What do you think? Who would you like to see get the job?
I don't have a good enough opinion to throw one out there. I really don't. You know, I have a lot stronger opinion on who I'd like to see become the head coach. You know, I'm with a lot of you. You know, the athletic director, the problem I have is if that's got to happen before other decisions are made. Let's say Auburn loses by 2 touchdowns to Arkansas this weekend. I've had enough. You know, if that happens, I've already close to having enough. I've definitely had enough if we lose at home to Arkansas this weekend by 2 touchdowns. But right now we're still sitting there in limbo. We think that an AD's got to be hired before we go out and we do this, and then we watch Jeremiah Cobb and a few other of these 4 stars. We only got 11 committed. Waiver and maybe fall off. I just don't know how long you can sit back and wait when the wheels do seem like they're falling off. And I'm not saying that they are going to, but you've got to be prepared for that to happen.
My personal opinion, the decision has been made. Hartson will be here until after time. Now, that is unless we lose by, like you say, 40-0 by Arkansas and Ole Miss.
2 touchdowns.
That may be.
At home?
Yeah, that probably.
To a team you've beaten 6 times?
That'd be bad. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with another segment of Auburn Blitz right after this.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce, because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years.